What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. We've got a pretty lengthy Alliance 4 video, mostly because we took on a mini boss that was pretty spammy. You guys will see at the end, but yeah, we had some like interesting fights and then some like kind of quirky stuff, like I guess interesting placements. We're gonna start off this war in path 6 against Thing, and this is all or nothing brute force, so it's not like I can just wait out everything. And but I did check, and this guy is running suicides, so that is gonna help me tremendously. Plus on the let's see, on the heavies, because I can get the bleed, I don't have to worry about him going unstoppable. And if you guys know anything about Warlock, or maybe if you don't know anything about Warlock, Warlock with his infection, if the opponent is healing, he actually power drains a little bit. So yeah, pretty awesome mechanic. As you can see here, we are fully in control of this fight, and yeah, just going for parry as many times as we can, because parry gives us 4 stacks of the virus and gets us closer to the infection. So yeah, we're pretty in control of this fight. I would say so myself for sure. As you can see, he's only at a bar of power, and yeah, we're just fully in control. Nothing to worry about. We've lost 5% of our health due to block damage, but besides that, easy peasy. And the crazy thing is that we used a boost, and in the end we didn't actually need it. Alright, and so he's down to 7%. Throw him up, and that actually does kill him. So yeah, pretty awesome fight, guys. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it with Warlock, but the fact that he was running willpower made it a possibility. Now we're on to this Nick Fury, which is fisticuffs. This one was a little sketch. I still have the boost on, so if he does throw a special, we will be fine. The only thing is that he will undoubtedly gain more power than us, because defensive power gain is like twice that of offensive power gain. So yeah, the key here, I guess, is to try to get to our Imperious Rex. Our Imperious Rex is gonna allow us to not give him any power gain on our special attacks. And so you guys will see that I start to play pretty slow, because I'm looking at my charges. So I'm currently at 26, almost at 27, and yeah, we're gonna go for the SP2. I mean the SP3, and there we go, SP3. I know he's all or nothing, so always have that in mind. So we're just gonna go for the SP2 right after, and not have to worry about him throwing any special attacks. So we go in, SP2, run in his face, and then he runs out at me, and throw my SP, or the heavy, into SP1, give some crazy bleeds, and then finish it off with a full 5-hit combo. And yeah, finish him off. Pretty sketch, especially because he just got to his SP3, but regardless, we did have the invulnerability boost, so we were fine either way. Alright, so next up is this Dormammu on brute force. I completely forgot it was brute force. I didn't even read the nodes, and he's running limber. I'm like, ah, shoot, like we're in trouble. We're in so much trouble. So yeah. And not to mention, this guy has the brute force, or this alliance put on brute force. But luckily, because Quake does so well against mystics, yeah, that aftershock damage was absurd, and we managed to take down Dormammu in just 2 stacks of, or 2 instances of the aftershock. Alright, on to our next fight. Again, we're in lane 6, so we're gonna end up taking this Moon Knight, and this is kind of like the interesting placement because it was probably just a defensive diversity placement. It's a 6-star, no rank 2. Moon Knight is not really good for anything currently in the current state of the game. So yeah, this is 100% for diversity's sake. And I just found it a little weird because for diversity they could have probably placed a villain instead. Would have cost more block damage. So yeah, but yeah, we're gonna start this fight off with debuff immunity, or limited immunity, that's what it's called. So he'll be immune to all kinds of debuffs for 25 seconds. And we're trying to not to get him to a SP1 so we don't have to bait one too early on. Alright, and get him to SP2, and now we're going to try to bait one because Moon Knight's SP1 is probably one of the most annoying SP1s to have to evade, because if you don't do it right, you can't punish it. Like you have to block one of the hits, and if you evade all of it, you can't punish it. So yeah, kind of annoying. Then we get to our Imperious Rex, and unfortunately don't get the SP3, but the SP2 still hits decently hard. So killed him off there, luckily, and also luckily we didn't miss our SP2 because that would have been tragic. Alright, now for this No Retreat AON. For No Retreat, I generally like to use Quake just because it's just evade parry. Yeah, I get Warlock is pretty nice for No Retreat. Ghost is as well, but because AON has his double hit medium, Ghost is sometimes a little risky if you decide to go for 2 phases for a medium and a light. Cause sometimes he'll go for his double hit medium, and then that'll actually catch you off guard. But yeah, Quake is just pretty safe, I would say. Yeah, definitely I love using Quake for this. And like a lot of fights where their mechanics are kind of annoying, I feel like Quake just comes through pretty clutch, and yeah, get through this fight pretty easily. And now he's down to 34%. The only thing about Quake is that when they have the concussion from the aftershock, that can trip you up for sure. But especially if they have limber. But luckily we're doing fine so far, and yeah, just gotta wait a little bit more, and that takes him down. Alright, and even with the class disadvantage, it wasn't too bad. And now we're gonna get over to the mini bosses. I only had to take one mini boss, I believe. These 2 fights somebody else handled, which I'm glad for, and I went for the triple power gain mini. And this Nick Fury as well. So I took this Nick Fury with Namor. I feel like Namor is pretty awesome for Nick Furies. Although, if depending on the node, I would probably prefer different champions, like Domino or Archangel, just because I know that most of my damage isn't coming from having a Fury, which has a limited duration. So gonna go into this fight, and yeah, we're gonna go for that SP3 SP2 combos. And at the start of the fight, so I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about Namor's nerf. Well, I guess balance change would be more appropriate. So basically what they said was that Namor, they want to slow him down as far as ramp up and healing. So what was interesting was the fact that they actually did nerf the healing. I don't think his healing was that crazy, although considering how much he has going for him, I felt it kind of understandable. I'm just kind of curious to know what caused them to want to nerf the healing, because I feel like that's not Namor's main calling. So they basically changed it from 6% of missing health to 3% of missing health. I wouldn't say it's a crazy change, because at the end of the day, I don't use my Namor for the healing, although the healing is nice. And I feel like most of the healing actually does come from, what it actually comes from is from the suicides. Because when they show stats, they showed a lot of stats, right? And Namor supposedly was pretty high up there as far as regen comes. And yeah, I definitely do believe that the regen was probably due to suicides. That's probably what made his numbers go pretty high up there. As you can see, with suicides, I'm healing for 86 because of willpower. And that's probably the number they saw. I mean, I can't blame them, but yeah, just kind of interesting. I'm not sure if, if I were a game dev, if I would say, oh yeah, he definitely needs a nerf because of so and so, or because of this regen. That's definitely making him too OP. And then the other change was they changed his bleed on mediums from 30 to 60%. Again, what they wanted to have Namor do was it's just to slow his ramp up a little bit. I think at the end of the day, he's still going to be crazy useful, especially because he can return back all the damage due to his sig ability. And he just hitting his SP3 still does do a lot of damage. So as you can see there, finished off the Nick Fury just fine. Especially in fights where, the opponent is still bleed immune or can't take bleeds or shrugs off bleeds, Namor's still going to be exactly the same. So that's one thing that I think people are probably missing on. Still, I'm going to be interested to see how well Namor does post balance change, but hopefully it ain't too bad. Alright, so go on to this Killmonger, and yeah, it's a 6-star rank 2. I believe the signature ability isn't actually too high, and yeah, this is such a long fight because we just have to bait SP2s as much as we can to not get backed up, and on top of that, because he's throwing his SP2 so often, he has indestructible 60% of the time, because so if I throw a 5-hit combo but 3 of those gets blocked, yeah, not a fun time. Alright, so you can see how annoying this fight is. It's just me basically evading SP2s. We could make this into a simulator, SP2 simulator. Yeah, kind of annoying. Right, trying to bait an SP2, and then I'll wait a little bit for my SP1. My SP3, and yeah, I kind of messed it up. I should have thrown an SP3 a little bit earlier, but we're just gonna throw it and try to get in an SP2 right away. Alright, and he throws his SP2 before me, a little sneaky bastard. Throw our SP2 after all those charges are gone. Unfortunately, the second hit does not stun, which is what I was really looking forward to, because that would have just made it for us. And now we gotta wait for another cycle of Imperious Rex. So yeah, it just made it for a long fight because those indestructibles. If it weren't for those indestructibles, this fight would have been over, I'm sure. Yeah, just a really annoying fight. I mean, if I were to do it again, I feel like I would do fine, but I don't know. Right, another one, and if you're looking at the clock, we don't time out, but we don't make it. So right here, I believe I throw my SP3. Oh, no, I don't. That was surprising. Okay, there. Now we throw our SP3, and right after SP3, we know he has an SP2 ready for us. So, gotta watch out for that. And we missed the SP2 evade, and that was so tragic. We almost had the solo on this fight. So yeah, we throw one death in this war, and we end up going with Warlock into this fight. I think we were pretty ahead as far as deaths went in this war, so I didn't really mind throwing a death. And yeah, with Warlock, as long as we can throw our SP2, even though it's going to take ages to get there, it'll still help us a lot, because we can armor break him, and with the armor break, he won't be able to get his his indestructible charges. So yeah. Alright, and we're gonna wait for the SP2. Alright, there we go. And then we'll throw our SP2. And there you go. Infection, doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Otherwise, yeah, it might have been bad. I feel, am I wrong to think that having more infections, or maybe more counts for willpower, causes more power drain? I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like that's how it's working. I feel like sometimes power drained is super fast, and sometimes it's pretty slow. But yeah, I finished off that fight with an SP2. Pretty long fights. But yeah, that is the war video, guys. Keep on lookout for the next war video. The next war video is actually pretty exciting. I ended up taking path 4 with Domino Trinity, so keep an eye out. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.